Oh, Scott is right there.
The whole gang is here. Look at us. We look like a rock band.
Wait a second, Scott. Scott.
You know, this is the earliest.
Look at this.
8 in the morning.
Right.
I've never done an 8 in the morning.
They're only for driving.
The party of blind.
Hello, Ari.
Yeah.
Hey, can we have that cool?
Hi there.
Can we
Nice
have that
to meet
cool
you guys.
laser effect you got going on there?
Oh my God.
You have to turn it on when you turn on, and so
Wow.
you
That
guys
sucks.
unfortunately would have to leave.
Okay.
And come back. But I figure since we're doing an 8 in the morning talk, or 8 for, I guess it's 11 for you, I wanted to have a little bit of like a, you know, show vibe to make me remember rock music when I haven't had my
I'm
coffee.
with you, buddy.
So very nice to meet you guys. Have you toured together before?
Yes, I used to be Johnny's drum tech about 40 years ago, and so we met on Tinder. And from there, it was love it.
No. From there, it was nothing but loving. Did you ever? But
No.
You weren't really his drum tech, were you? No. Did you ever study freehand technique with him? Be honest.
You know what? Why are you shaking your head? No, John.
Dude, I mean, like,
I have. What do you know?
I just know that. Okay, go ahead.
No. I have since studied Johnny, both in person and on the YouTube machine quite extensively, and on all those private Tinder videos we were talking about. But no, he's it's fantastic. Whoa, see, I knew that was going to happen. I started getting out of line. But yeah, it's fantastic. Johnny's fantastic. Come on.
Let's wait.
Yeah. I mean, I have a question, Johnny. Were you kind of one of the first people to do that level of like drum and bass style insanity with your hands? Like, who invented? I mean, you invented the freehand.
So yeah, I appreciate
what.
I mean,
how'd that come about?
Well, in a nutshell, first of all, Scott, thanks for getting on here. Are you in Nashville, Scott?
I'm in Phoenix.
You are in Phoenix. I thought you were in Nashville today. Okay, cool.
No, Phoenix. But later Nashville.
Okay, early for you too.
Whoa, there goes.
Okay.
I think I'm
early
just up on this.
No, your early riser award. And then, hey, John McTeague's on here. Hey, John, great drummer. Anyway, the freehand technique thing came about from my love of drum and bass music, produced music, and the speed of it was, 160 to 180 BPM at that point. And you always hear him like, but the hi-hat kept going. So in a nutshell, Hari's on here. In a nutshell, when I was at school, I started messing with it. And I was like, man, what if you could use your one hand for absolutely controlling 30 seconds and 16th notes, like legitimately, not just as like a spaz out roll. And messed with it, got very frustrated with it. I will say, yeah, like from what Kenwood inspired me to do. I didn't know him personally, but Kenwood Denard, but he had a video out called Just Advance. And I was absorbing everything he was doing in that thing. He was amazing, one-handed roll. So I've always said the inspiration of using the rim of the drum was from him, and the idea of the stick, quote unquote, teetering was from him. But then the controversy has kind of been what happened from there. And from there, I just took it over the years, like maybe 4 years, 4 through 2000, and really tried to like make a book of it, of like, here's how you control, here's the rules, pretty nerd-like stuff. But back then you were asking about the drum and bass. Zach Danziger, Tony Verderosa, Jojo Mayer, and me were heavily into it, and also Dirk Brand. We didn't know, but all coming from different places in the world, New York, California, Switzerland, Germany, and met at the NAMM show, and we're all bringing out these like cymbals with different companies. We're like, oh, you dig this? Like, yeah, here's my book in a German accent, Dirk Brand. And then like JoJo's ridiculous, and that's it. So it's been frustrating but fun. The freehand thing's been super frustrating because there's a lot of I don't want to be a jerk. People have coached me not to be a kind of a jerk, I guess, about the topic anymore, but it's irritating a little bit there's not much. Everyone's like, oh, even on my page, it's like, it's a gravity blast. And I'm like, okay, guys. All right. So
I thought that was
whatever.
Gravity blast.
Gravity blast.
Sure.
On the moon, Scott.
Gravity blast. Scott, do you have your own technique that you're gonna market and then get frustrated that people don't recognize your genius?
For me, something called the 2 and 4. It's revolution. But
it's a back
the
It's
a little something called ghost notes. But no, we're in my neck of the woods for the drumming. I think if I was to try to play a blast beat in a Jim Blossom song, I'd find my way with a quick plane ticket back to Phoenix. So I love just, I've talked about this a lot on other podcast shows, but just how much drumming has evolved over even the last 10 years with Instagram videos, and just how the kids out there, and I'm calling you a kid, Johnny, the kids out there are just doing these mind-boggling things, which, only maybe a handful of drummers that you would see in years past were able to do. And now it's like nothing. It's like just this whole paradigm shift in ability and just making it look so clean and easy. And so I decided a while back that I could try to get into that thing, or I could just let them do what they do, and I'll stick to what I can do, which is meat and potatoes, and playing to a click, and that sort of stuff that ultimately doesn't get you sent home fired. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, you've been playing for the longest, I think, the longest drummer in Gin Blossoms, right? How long you been with them?
Let's see. I keep saying it was 12 years, but now it's actually been 10 years. It only at moment feels like 12 years.
It usually goes the other way.
Yeah, since 20.
Usually, next year it'll be 9 years.
So yeah.
And you got because of Stuart Copeland, I hear.
Yes.
Is this correct?
Yes.
What's the inspiration?
I'm going out tonight, flying out to Nashville to see him perform with his orchestra.
Oh, man.
What?
I'm just exciting. I would have double dated.
Well, there's always room. There's always room at the Red Roof.
So, you're going to Nashville
correct.
to see him.
Yeah.
Is that? And are you going to stay there for a while, or are you just like flying in to see Stuart?
Yeah, no, I'm going to be there for 3 performances, and hopefully get some hang time or whatever FaceTime, and maybe we can discuss dotted half notes and all that kind of fun stuff. But no, it's fantastic. Without Stuart, I am nothing. Many drummers, of course, and so at this point in my life, I feel very lucky to be able to even see the man perform live, much less be able to actually get to maybe hang out or whatever.
That's rad, Scott.
Yeah, hang out inside of
Yeah, it is. It's cool, and they're fantastic. They're fantastic people. Jeff Seitz and Judith, his wife, manages his tour, and they've basically helped facilitate, you know, my way into the world of Stewart a little bit. So it's fun.
Mm-hmm. Can you give us any insider tips about his snare and why his snare inspired you as a kid?
Yeah.
And what
I can tell you, like the first time I heard, probably it was One World Not Three. It's the name of the song off of the Machine. The first time I heard that snare, the crack of the snare, I was in it was that did it for me. Like, that's all I needed to hear. I didn't even need to hear, is this guy any good? The snare alone, the sound drew me in, and I said, okay, this is something that is so visceral and so just, I want to do whatever that is, whatever I'm hearing, whatever my brain is. And that's what I heard, and what I realized first was I want to be a part of that kind of thing. And then I realized, oh my God, this guy can also actually play this instrument quite well. And so I just started studying what those, you know, records very intently and play along with them. And by the way, trying is the key word there. You know.
Well, do you go, I mean, his sources are, you know, because he grew up in a kind of worlds of different music, non-American music. And I find it interesting to kind of figure out, going back to like what influenced him growing up in, I think, Lebanon, right? And Egypt. And is that something, can you bring any of those? You were sort of joking about, you know, 2 and 4, but can you bring any of that kind of, you know, playfulness that attracted you into Gin Blossoms? Or is that something you set aside?
What's funny is, so Phil Rhodes is this guy that was Gin Blossom's first drummer. He played on the first record, the second record. I'm not sure about the rest of them, but anyway, when you hear a Gin Blossom song on the radio, that's Phil Rhodes playing. And I knew early on that Phil was a Stewart fan. And so my secret to being able to sort of bring the Stewart influence and sort of slide it maybe even into the more of a forefront in what I'm doing with the Gin Blossoms, recreating Phil's stuff, is that I know what Phil was trying to do in the first place, which was pull the Stewart stuff in. So for me, it's great fun because I can sort of take it and make it my own, but I can also really have myself a lot of fun with the hi-hat stuff, the little, you know, hi-hat fills and flourishes, and, you know, off time, you know, just throwing the little tom fill in as a little punctuation here and there. That's the kind of stuff that that is there on those Blossoms records if you listen to them, you know.
Dude.
Have you ever used RhythmSaw?
Do what?
Yeah, that's right. Hang on, I'll be right back. You guys keep chatting.
Well, I'm just, you know, since you're friends, you know, and
I love her.
he just left. Johnny, where'd you go?
What's going on?
Got scared. I mentioned RhythmSaw. He has a drumstick with ridges, or
I do have those.
you
just real quick,
because it seems like for playing Stewart like stuff and doing strange runs, you know, having a bunch of bridges on the side of a drumstick. Do you have one there?
Oh, I thought this is a plug. One? Hey, look at this.
It's backwards, but this is mixed reality. This is a vinyl that I bought directly from the guys when we were touring with them. Scott's on there, and I love this record, Scott. Just want to let you know that's where I went over to my turntable system, my hi-fi unit, and I got this. It's such a great album, and I remember one of my fondest memories, guys, this is real, is I was in a hotel that had a record player, and I was really tired Scott and I have been playing basically on the moon one of the nights. I know that's our inside joke, Scott. We can explain that story. But there's so many great songs on this, and it was, I don't know how to say it, just a great feeling, because like I love taking naps. Scott, I don't know if you like taking naps, like when you're on the road some, but I do.
Oh yeah.
Are you taking naps?
Oh yeah, very much.
Yeah.
Any
I was taking a nap, and this was on the record player right in my hotel. And I don't know. There's that ballad, Scott. Can you help me on the name? You guys played it live.
Right. We do play it live?
Yeah.
Break. Break.
That one to me, dude. Whoo. Woof. Woof. Okay. I just like what's going on, and I want to give a props there to Scott too, because first time I met him, I think, was Council Bluffs, Iowa, the outdoor weird casino. I shouldn't have said weird, but I say that only because we get some weird venues. It was a very nice venue, and I was like, oh, he said, we're setting up together, and you never know what people are gonna. You just don't know, like, what the industry brings with, hey man, how are you doing? Get out of here, or I don't know how people are going to react. Scott actually did that. He's like, get lost. No, I'm kidding. He was quite the opposite. It was buddies and like just talking and like, man, yeah, we're playing tonight, this thing. And then we didn't really get to play together that much after, right, Scott? Until the tour?
It was a while. It was like maybe a year, actually.
Yeah.
Because we both said, man, it's been a year. And we looked at each other like, boy, that didn't go by pretty fast.
Yeah, thanks, dude. So I know I just did an interruption with the record, but just exciting. I don't know, something exciting about watching Scott work, and then the whole summer of jokes and kind of, it's literally camaraderie. Like we always try to be careful of each other's space because of bands, and you don't want to like interrupt sound checks, but at the same time, you kind of do want to interrupt sound checks a little bit, or make Scott laugh, or try to, or do a little iPhone photo shoot, or whatever we're gonna do. But anyway, Scott, good job, because that tour was amazing. And I told everybody, like, you guys sound, and I mean this in the best way, not stale, like the record. Like you bring the live show with energy, but it's still got that like, holy crap, listen to Robin, listen to the guys, listen to Scott. So these guys, anyway, it's great. And Scott, you're just a great human.
Appreciate that. That's the idea. Like, that's what the biggest compliment I ever hear is like, boy, you sound just like the record. And I always say, well, that's what they pay me for. So yeah, I sort of, if I came away and they said, boy, couldn't quite place that, all of it, it would be like a failure on my part. So
what was that song you guys were just doing?
Yeah.
Well, so you postponed your tour, is that right?
Our bass player and I were walking back from the show, and it was so bizarre. We were literally having a conversation with each other about the dangers of black ice.
No.
And about that time, I was walking along in front of Bill, and I heard what sounded like those fast cartoon effect footsteps, the stuff Flintstone. Yes,
it's like
I heard what that sounded. Yes, and then I turned around and I saw Bill falling almost directly onto his face, and the whole weight of his body fell on his his right arm. And
super lame.
He knew immediately that he had busted his elbow. So that was we tried to play an acoustic show the next night. It was just kind of weird, but we decided, you know what, we had like 8 shows left. Let's do them in the fall. And they were New Miserable Experience shows where we play the New Miserable Experience album from front to back. Actually, Robin one night was trying to get us to play it from back, and that's not a joke. And we almost did it and thought, you know what, we got enough on our plate here. So Yeah, so Bill is on the mend, and you know, everything looks like we'll be revving back up in like about a week, I think. Is that a week? Yeah. Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, dude, that makes me excited. Sorry to hear about Bill on that. I didn't know that happened.
Yeah, you know, it was about like when you think of black ice, you know, you think, okay, yeah, you have to be careful on black ice. No, you really do have to be careful on black ice, because the man went down hard, and when I saw his elbow, I just looked at it and thought, this doesn't look like anything I've ever seen.
Was it like
no? I couldn't see. I don't want to see. It was
okay,
pretty bad.
But
sorry to hear it.
Yeah, but you know, they did a surgery,
yeah.
and you know, he's, you know, last time I saw him, he was playing his bass. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, he's back to Bill.
Yeah.
I
Does
think
he have
they had
metal
to
in
do
his arm?
some meddling of sorts, but I'm not quite sure.
Oh, damn.
I think HIPAA laws might
I
prevent me from discussing this further.
Oh my God, dude, you're killing it right now with the jokes. I love it.
When I was making Adventures of Power, my air drummer movie, I broke my arm.
While air drumming or something else?
What? No, actually, it was when we were about to shoot the scene where my character convinces some union guys to put him in a boat and take him across from New Jersey to New York. And I had been fighting to get this location for a few days, and it turned out we got the location. And I was celebrating, and I was joking with my crew. So I said to the DP, I was like, hey, maybe when I'm running for the harbor, I should run into this pole. And so I ran across the parking lot and ran into the pole to try to make him laugh. And I broke my arm.
The price you pay, the price you'll pay for laughter. I
It's
saw
not-
Eric.
Yeah. So then I had to cancel. You know, then I'd lost the location. I had to, you know, get surgery, cover for 6 weeks. And I did end up shooting a couple scenes with a broken arm. So if you watch Adventures of Power, you can see I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, and there's a cast, and there's some scenes where I'm kind of only air drumming with my left hand.
It's funny how you can have an injury completely take you out like that. I mean, you got to be careful. It's weird. Like, I love soccer, I love basketball, but I hear stories of people being like, yep, I missed an entire 2 years worth of touring because I got, you know, Will Turpin, our bass player, got his thumb pulled back trying to go up for a layup or some sort of thing. And like that put him out for, before I was in the band, for like a year.
I would have exchanged basketball injury stories. I broke my foot while on tour. I missed 20 shows with the band.
Well,
really?
I was playing one-on-one with the drummer from Everclear, Sean Chester, and it was on one of those uneven backstage parking lot deals with the hoop in the back and the Black Widow spider webs all around. And I went in and I was like, okay, this is going to be fantastic. An afternoon of basketball with Sean. And like 5 minutes into the game, my face had hit the what do they call it? The stanchion, the pole. And I had totally broken my fifth metatarsal.
Whoa.
I played the show that night because I didn't know I had a broken foot. The EMT just said, hey, I hope you're not playing a show tonight. And I said, well, as a matter of fact, I'm heading to the stage. And he said, you better tie your shoe pretty tight. And so I woke up the next morning and I had like elephantitis foot, and that was, yeah, good times.
No.
So never leave us.
So you were playing on a.
Oh, it was. I mean, I was on
so
much Vicodin. It just felt like it was the best show I had ever played.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
that was about how I felt. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, 20 shows, man. I'll tell you, you really do appreciate when you go down and you are injured like that, and especially if it happens in such a preventable way. If it's just out of clear boredom and you're, you know, playing basketball, or you're out, you know, jogging and you trip and you fall and you realize, you know, why didn't I just stay in my bunk? And realize,
Yeah. Why did I
yes,
fall just to make one person laugh?
It,
Yeah.
attention.
I mean, this is
That's right.
the perils of downtime.
Oh, man.
I don't. What's
It's
idleness?
workshop, guys. This is
Devil will
Satan's
find
workshop.
work. So I want to ask you, Johnny, about New 80. You have this. You have this 80s group, and you want to talk about how you channel your, like, what is it about the 80s that speaks to you? What bands are your?
I was born in '72, so you can imagine the '80s were kind of my like years of teens and stuff like that. So I grew up in California. Always loved everything from Thomas Dolby, the Cars, Devo. I mean, anything NXS, late, you know, anything you can imagine. '80s. That was just like, that's what I was living it, you know. Of course, Rush was kind of the reason I started. Yes, and all that, the prog stuff. Of course, I got into like fusion and jazz, but the '80s pop, I was always interested in, like, how are they getting those drum sounds? And like, man, these things are so, I didn't know they were catchy songs then. They were just the songs. So late '70s, always loved the on the snare. So I would imitate that by taking my Little League jacket and tying it around my snare. And my coach was like, why does it say Braves? And it's like a perfect circle of white, you know, like these white dots. I'm like, oh, it's on my snare at home, trying to imitate the Cars, playing along with the Cars records. Or yeah, and I also did, like, to be honest, same thing happened what Scott's talking about. Like the Police Synchronicity record with my friend Mike Johns was like, I don't want this. And I remember skateboarding from the top of the hill home with that record, putting it on, and exactly what Scott said. I do want to get back to the question. Yes, Duran Duran as well. All those bands, folks, I don't mean to be weird, but like just every name you throw out, probably I'm going to be like, yeah, 80s. But I heard that record and was like, you can drum like that? And then I got into Fishbone, and I got into some of that stuff. My drum teacher was big into fusion, so there's this big music mixing pot of stuff. And but the 80s, I'm like, there's no way I remember my biggest thing, there's no way they can sound like this live. And I was kind of right, sort of. Like the 80s, just like the way the drums sound. I'm like, there's no way when they're live it can be this process. I didn't know the word processed at age 10. I wasn't like walking around Studio Ace or something. That's what got me into it. Now with Collective Soul, there's some downtime, which we're pretty busy, obviously, right? But I was like, man, what do I love doing? Of course, I love all the funk and the stuff and the whatever, but like Scott, the song was my main reason of starting. Everyone asked, somebody even said for Collective Soul, man, what a waste of what you do. And I'm like, no, it isn't. I love this. I'm playing backbeat. I'm playing the song. And Scott's right. You do the freehand or you do some stupid move. You know, see you later, you know, airplane flight home. So the band was created about 3 years ago. NU80. We are an original band, but yet the cover thing, we're trying to do this like 80s experience, you know, video backdrop, the lights, the whole thing for like larger venues. So we're trying to kind of bypass, not that we're above playing them, but bypass the clubs. We're trying to get this booked, you know, at venues that like we're playing with our bands we're in now, and actually do it as a business. But we just released a record, and I love the guys. It's a great project.
So it's a mix of covers and originals?
No, it's actually
or is it now
more
all
so
original?
the 80s experience review. Like, you know, everything Flock of Seagulls to Thompson Twins to
what Duran Duran songs do you play? What
we
Duran
are
Duran
right now
songs
not
are you
in
playing,
the set,
if any?
meaning like not in our set is like Rio. That's a, you know, that, you know, all the favorites. I'd love to do like the Reflex, but I mean, I can't afford that waterfall effect they have in that video. So
no, I remember at the time as a kid, and there was a rumor about what that waterfall represented.
I can imagine. I heard so many rumors
rumor?
that the song was written after a young person with I want to be very careful here, but special needs or something that said the reflex to them. And then they got the idea about the reflex was like, I have no idea if that's true. The waterfall, no idea. But this is back in the day with, you know, oh my God, doesn't matter. That type of, I don't know, what was your thought of what that represented?
Well, it's a not safe for work thing, but, you know, as a you know, a little boy, this is what we heard. We heard all of the results. I'll just say the results of the lovemaking on tour collected of the band.
They were making a lot of love then, apparently, to create a waterfall.
That is what I heard, and you know, I was young enough to think, oh, that really is what it is.
Duran.
That is what it is. But
hearing that
I seriously,
you have officially ruined Duran for me.
What's up, Alex? Okay, so real quick on that '80s thing, Scott and Ari, the one little thing I wish for you guys is to go check out Wang Chung deeply, and the outfield deeply. Unfortunately, the outfield lead singer.
Really,
I was seriously like hurt by this. He passed away 2.5 years ago or so. And my friend Rizzy was drumming for them, and I was living vicariously through them because as a kid, I wrote letters to Wang Chung and Outfield Fan Club in the UK, and they got returned. Either drummer at age 12. I was like, if you guys ever need a drummer, it was all handwritten. If you guys ever, I know you have drummers, but if you ever need a drummer, I'm 12, and I know all your stuff. But a lot of people think that, you know, Everybody Have Fun Tonight is like the thing. You got Vinny Colaiuta, you got so many amazing players playing on Wang Chung, Warmer Side of Cool record. Just go check out, because it's all free or rentable now. Go check out like Diamond Days Outfield. Go check out Voices of Babylon Outfield. Go check out his solo record he did before he passed away, the singer of the Outfield. And
but those high notes, the first time I ever heard the Outfield, I actually thought it was a New Police record because wow, Sting's really, you know, working those high notes these days. And then I discovered it was the Outfield, and I was like, boy, these guys are fantastic.
That thing you just said, Scott, the radio station played them, and somebody said the exact same thing you did. Because I called in, I'm like, what is this? This is My Paradise song. Is that new Sting or Police? And they're like, no, it's Outfield. Same thing happened. I will tell you, I've not met Tony Lewis in person. I was hoping to. I was hoping to sub for Mike. Never happened, but I did get word back to Tony that how much I loved, because the management team was the same place we rehearsed.
Right.
And I'm like, guys, I don't mean to be lame. I'm getting older. When you guys do the new record, because Tanner played drums on it, can I do like one track? I literally try to sell myself. He's like, yeah, maybe that, you know, he's aware that you're interested and all that stuff.
Right.
His actual voice, like even when he was on his Instagram, because he got into it, he was doing like the Josie Vacation Far Away, right?
Yeah.
He would just go into that voice. You're like, that's you. Like it literally was a natural spot. Whereas if I tried that, it'd be falsetto and lame.
Yeah.
He's pretty
full
neat
voice
stuff.
at that.
A sad loss, because that guy crafted, what a word, crafted my teens.
Yeah.
It was just space and time moment. Wang Chung and them killed me. You know what I mean? Like just killed me on, I don't know, like young, where you're like, what's life going to be like? And like, just like the whole, like, oh, tonight was sad for me. I'm going to get sad with the Outfield. Oh, tonight was great. I'm going to be psyched with the Outfield and Wang Chung. So those are like sleeper bands kind of. And
yeah, I've heard about Wang Chung. I never did the deep dive, but I had someone say to me, what, you know, I see someone in the comments was, you know, that you underneath the hits, there's some incredible stuff, because somehow the hits sort of came out after they had already done like really interesting stuff, and they're like, all right, let's actually get on the radio. But yeah, I gotta do that dive. I mean, I somehow always, for me, like the thing that I come back to that is always fresh from the 80s is
we
Talk
cover
Talk.
one of their tunes. Yeah. Sorry, I can't read on that. Yep.
And yeah, I mean, and it's interesting. I would imagine being the drummer of Talk Talk as the band got more and more esoteric and quiet might have been a frustrating experience, but that drummer is amazing. I don't know if you've seen their live show from Montreux, I guess you pronounce it, Montreux. They have an incredible live performance where they've got a full band of like 8 people. And I watched it a couple weeks ago, and I realized that they probably are, you know, in the top 3 bands of the 80s, just in terms of their skill, their songcraft, their energy. And then right after that tour, they basically shut down. They didn't tour anymore, and then they created these incredible rock, you know, post-rock records before that term existed, kind of invented post-rock. But it's kind of, you know, I don't know, it's not sad, but I think about that drummer because he's so good on that live tour, and then you hear these last records where it's like, you know, like just tapping the crown of the cymbal, and that's the whole song.
Sounds amazing,
you know,
but the Spirit of Eden, we could have like a talk podcast. That record and the follow up to that, the band became arguably. I mean, those records to me are still so influential.
Yep.
And
I listen to them all the time. Spirit of Eden is one of my top 10 records. Just not necessarily a drummer's record, but it's
where the drums are there. You know they're there. I mean, it's just insane.
Wouldn't you guys agree though? Sometimes like I'm getting excited about how and people are like totally 100%. Don't you almost feel like you have so much to say? What I mean by that is I want to like now share like every single thing I've ever listened to be like, guys, don't you agree? Like, I mean, Mr. Live at the Roxy, Pat Masalato at like trade shows, and he's like goofing off with me, and I'm like, you're goofing off with me, dude? You're like influenced me like insane with like the Broken Wings, and then like later with Go On and like all his electronic triggering. He's like, oh, I'm like, I'll never forget. I went, hey Pat, when you're playing on the Go On, this one tune, he goes, oh man, I don't totally remember. He goes, a lot of that I programmed. and I'm telling you, it was so inspiring just to look on the inside of the record at his Yamaha kit, his triggers. And then when I met him, but I'm telling you, if you get a chance, how you guys were diving into YouTube on these concerts, Mr. Live from the Roxy, it's like New York, it's basically the Ritz in New York. Check out the entire band and Pat. And that's what I mean. We could go on and on about, and that was a whole entire record collection of us. And of course, there's somebody saying John Fick.
You know, Mr. The very opening of my movie Adventures of Power is Mr. Which people always make for like you're doing a drum thing, and it's Kyrie eleison, and he's dancing on the smokestacks, or I'm dancing on the smoke power. But yeah, if you see him again, I don't know if he ever saw the movie because, you know, we licensed the song, but, you know, God knows what they tell the band.
I will, and I will tell you what's funny is
out.
that he's obviously doing all his stuff with King Crimson, and somebody put in of course when Kick came out and the other albums too, life changing on drum parts. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to be quiet. Unbelievable how many we could talk for hours on just the. Hey, it's like when Scott says something about, man, I play backbeat. I'm like, I know, I love it. Let's, you know, it's like, so I'll calm down. It's pretty amazing how.
Well, we could have a podcast about our love for Pat. I mean, he's.
Yes, we can. Actually, you know how much I love Pat, Scott, real quick?
Let's hear it.
My friend Adrian, can you ask Pat? This is a real question. When I was researching for the NU80, he has this white drum set for one of their videos with Pearl electronic pads are on it. And I went, can you ask Pat if that kit, I think it's Is This Love, the song, it has it still, and can I either borrow it or buy it? And I think he said it was like either sold to somebody already or in storage. Damn it. Anyway, there you go.
So it's in the back of some hallway, like at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, you know, crazy and somewhere a drum set that you want
Right
is
next
available.
to my SDS7.
We could have a podcast about that, Scott.
Yeah, right.
So,
Since you both, one thing I always like to mention is the Neil Peart connection, because Neil Peart is how I became an air drummer. Neil Peart was the inspiration for Adventures of Power, and then he ended up being in the movie. I know, Scott, you learned moving pictures in order to train you didn't take lessons, and that was your lesson, right? Is playing.
Yeah, very much. And you know, let's not, I am under no illusion here. I did not learn to play moving pictures. I thought I learned to play. And there is a huge distinction there, because what practicing every day to Neil's playing did for me was, it maybe didn't make me a better drummer, but it gave me the confidence that I thought I was a better drummer. And then I was able to actually go and start playing with human beings, instead of just, you know, putting on some headphones and opening my sliding glass door so the kids across the street come and watch me play. That's what practicing with Neil did for me. You know, we didn't have like the YouTube videos where it would show you, you know, in depth. All right, we're going to slow this. We're going to show you how he did what he did. All of that stuff would have, in a way, been, for me, it would have actually been a deterrent, because I might have looked at it and said, I can never do this. Kind of like I look at a lot of the Instagram drummers. Like, I look at a lot of the Instagram drummers and I just want to say, okay, time for retirement. So like, if that had been the case with Neil, like, you know, when I was learning moving pictures or trying to, you know, play along with it, I might have just said, you know what, I'm just going to go to law school or something, you know? So yes, I played along with the record.
That big, you have to think about techniques you didn't know how to do. You would just listen and say, okay, he's making this sound. I gotta somehow make that sound. I gotta somehow.
And I'm sure that there are countless stories of drummers of our ilk who did exactly the same thing, because we all came from the same, you know, sort of lacking that generation of YouTube. I mean, there was no internet. There was no, you know, we didn't even cell phone. We just had a record player, you know, we just had a.
Yeah. And Neil said he learned to play drums.
There you are.
We're losing you.
Oh, you frozen?
Scott?
Am I back?
We lost you for a second there, Scott.
Am I still back?
You seem back.
Hold on, I think I know.
Coming in hot, buddy.
Coming in.
Am I back?
I'll just say, Neil told me that he learned to play drums by listening to Keith Moon and playing. He had magazines. He got magazines set up on his pillows, and he would play along with Keith Moon on his bed.
Well,
hitting the magazine.
Go ahead, John.
No, please go ahead. I'll tell you in a sec. It's cool.
I was just going to say, I was going to say that. So I'm just going to have to hold this phone. So Dave Grohl's storyteller book tour deal. He started out the show talking about what he used to do as far as practice was concerned. And he gets on the ground and he's got the pillows and he does exactly what you just described. And it was fantastic. I mean, it was like, he sort of walked us through like how he became the drummer that he became. And so what you're describing once again is, you know, the whole pillow thing and playing on pots and pans and whatever. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's so funny how we all as drummers have our stories of how we started. And they all, there's this commonality, this beautiful, just just very, you know, clean and innocent way that we all sort of were drawn to playing drums, and very, you know, tribal as well. I mean, you know, there was just something that obviously we all sort of connected to, you know, at an early age. Probably we all had those, you know, those stupid country and western drum kits that we broke, you know, the first morning our parents gave them to us. And you know, we all did that. But that's the beauty of being a drummer, is that we all can share these stories, you know, just like the guitarists can share their stories. But drummers, you know what I'm saying. Drummers are a lot more communal to begin with.
Yep.
And there is something magical and pure, and I think about the drummers that I liked, you know, as a kid. There was something magical about the snare sound, you know.
Oh yeah.
Bonzo's snare sound, Stuart Copeland's snare sound, where it was simply that. It was simply something about that, the sound, that makes you feel like,
yep, I
need to be a part of this. I need to hit something and find a way to make that sound less so than the technique or the crazy moves. It would just,
well, again, you know, if I was to try to accomplish what Johnny does from a technical standpoint, once again, you know, maybe if I practiced for the next 50 years of my life and I could finally get in a ballpark. But the beauty of it is that there are other things that I can pick up in Johnny's playing that just, it's just the way, like, just the pop of the snare, and like just the groove and the buzz, and the, you know, just there are certain things that, like, we can all pick from each other's playing. And and that's what I always tell people, is that we're all just a bunch of thieves, you know, running around, like, just borrowing and you know, trying to, like, disguise it just enough to say, oh yeah, that was my thing, and, you know, but really we're all, you know, we're all doing more or less the same, you know, shtick, the drumstick. But it's fantastic, you know. That's what makes us all, you know, sort of just brothers in drums.
It's if I can go ahead, Ari.
I was just going to say, since you're being so complimentary of drummers, I think we should tell some drummer jokes, though.
Johnny, you want to go for that?
Well, you have one. Well, I like that. You know, what is it? Knock, 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 and it's going to mess us up, but it's like, you know, if the or I don't even know.
I already like this joke.
The delivery joke. It's
knock, knock. Your pizza's here. It's your girlfriend's, boyfriend's, whatever. Yeah.
All those.
Yeah.
Can I throw something in there? I want to do the drummer. No, actually, do the drummer jokes, and I got to show you guys something that you just inspired. Wasn't planned, but do the drummer jokes, and then I'm trying to think.
Wait a minute. Can you do some magic for us?
I can't do magic.
Well, why not?
I'm not. My friend Michael Tricks out of Florida can do some magic for us. You remember him?
My friend Matt Franco can do some magic for us.
We can do a magic cast.
We've been talking about doing, like, we're brainstorming, and I'm not sure I should say this out loud, but we're going to be doing a drum magic thing. We're creating this. It's in the works.
Let me join in somehow. I don't want to.
Netflix special coming soon.
I love it so much. It's fantastic. Drummer jokes. How do you, like, what is it like? There's so,
you know, what did the drummer get on his IQ test?
Yeah.
Drool.
Pretty accurate. Yeah.
Splinters. That would be good too. You get splinters.
Huh?
I don't know.
Splinters.
I don't know.
Joke,
blisters. That's what I meant. I meant blisters. Never mind. Forget it.
It's okay. We're drummers.
I can't tell a joke.
How's a drum solo like a sneeze? You know it's coming, but there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Something else.
We're rolling now.
There's another.
There's a lot of, like, homeless girlfriend. Your mom's been down. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you call a
Homework.
drummer whose girlfriend
Yeah.
dumps him?
Kind of true.
Homeless.
What?
Yeah.
Boy, you know, this all of a sudden I'm sort of
Yeah.
depressed.
What-
This is how we're viewed by most of the world.
No, but I mean, we know that drummers are smart because when you live in rhythm,
That's right.
it actually trains the brain. And there are books
Right.
about this.
Did you know that all wizards in Renaissance times were called drummers? Ow! I'm kidding. I'm trying to say that we're wizards. We're wizards. I just, made my own dumb joke up. My dumb riddle.
Yeah.
Was it
that
a great joke?
really, really
Let
high
me
quality joke.
Guys, something that
No,
you were just talking about that's cool. I think it's cool. So,
yeah.
Over to my left, like legitimately, is this little road case. See it? And on there was these. I found these, and this is no BS. See this?
What is that?
I'm going to show you guys.
Is that an Oculus? What do you got there?
No, these are legitimately the headphones.
Oh my gosh. Oh, those
That-
are fantastic.
That I wore, and they're totally broken from age 3 till all through, maybe 12 years old, and then you got the nice set. These were in front of my closet. I mean, this is me, dude. Like,
Are those who's the maker of those?
these are going to be backwards. These are some sweet pioneers. These are
They
gonna
are
be
pioneers. I was going to say they're pioneers, aren't they?
This is backwards, but this was me. Owner of a Lonely Heart, like Cars. There's volume is right here.
You know, you should go into any grocery store wearing those and see if someone stops you. Yeah, see exactly.
With my iPhone has been all.
Yeah.
So I thought it was what these.
When ultimately get on audio only, we'll have to describe. So these Pioneer headphones, it's like tan cans that are falling apart. They're getting stripped on the sides, it looks like. But this true American manufacturing, they lasted for thousands of hours, I would imagine.
I think Keith Moon wore those taped to his head in the "Who Are You" studio video.
I know it's stupid, guys, but I will never get rid of them. They don't work.
Oh, you better not. Oh, you can't. They don't work.
I'm going to take them to my buddy that repairs stuff, even if they sound like garbage.
Yeah.
But those represent decent noise canceling. I didn't know at the time. Like, made you feel like you were playing along and you were in the studio with the guys.
Very much, yeah.
And real quickly, Scott, I get it. On you think that you're playing. Because I remember Owner of a Lonely Heart came, and I decided to set the drum kit up in front of the bifold closet doors like a stage.
Right.
And man, I would just shed that thing, trying to get that hi-hat open.
Yes.
I'm sure if you listen to what I was doing, it was nowhere near.
Yeah, but you know what? It didn't matter, right? It did not matter because it gave you confidence.
It's like singing in the shower. Everyone sounds great when they're singing along to something in the shower. Hello, said hello. It just flew by. I usually try to keep these to an hour.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Jeff.
An hour. It doesn't no hard out, but for sanity, it's been my rule. Is there something that because there's a lot of drummers listening, and will be listening when we publish the podcast? What do you advise to people who maybe are coming up as drummers? As Scott said, maybe in the Instagram and YouTube world, and they're becoming geniuses with technique and playing by themselves to a camera. How do you transition from that level of technique that we're getting in people who were raised that way to actually creating music that everyone wants to hear? Any wisdom on that?
Yeah, well, I think that first of all, it's not to disparage any of the fine musicians that we're referencing here, but what I would suggest is once you are doing these amazing things, creating these amazing Instagram videos, and clearly you're a fantastic player, make sure that you actually are not neglecting the other side of the equation, which is actually how to interact with a human being. You know, learning the ins and outs of the politics of actually being a working musician and being in a band, and realizing that you know, there are 3 or 4 other human beings with the same aspirations as you do, and you know, make sure your camera doesn't 5 seconds when a podcast. And but no, the other stuff is in a way, it's if not as important, I think it's probably more important in the end, because what you're going to find.
Sorry. Why does someone just wrote, "Don't stare at the camera in the videos, for God's sake," and I completely agree, because there's something, you see these people playing and they're just looking right into the camera, because I guess they get more likes that way, but it does really silly. And in a way, it's I mean, it's a little bit like a microcosm of our digital world, where you can get people who, whether they're great porn performers or
well, there's
great
that option too, but
or whatever,
that's another
to a camera, and they're not.
No, I mean, no, never mind.
What was that?
No, I mean, I think that, yeah, it is kind of like, hey, look at me, I'm over here, and trying to create a sense of excitement about the thing that you know, that person is doing. But like I said, once you graduate from that, you know, you better know how to, like, say good morning to your bandmates, and not, you know, and not slam the bus door when other people are trying to sleep, and, you know, be kind to your tour manager, and things that hopefully are going to come along eventually for all of these cats that are, you know, shredding, because there are a lot of cats shredding. I mean, man, woo. I mean, if let's put it this way. I mean, I'm under no illusion. If I was trying to break in now, and I was up against the competition that's out there now, I personally don't know that I would have the confidence to say, all right, well, I think I want to be in a rock and roll band. I think I'm going to go do that thing that, you know, that everybody else seems to be doing. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. Maybe it would make me strive even harder to get better. Okay, there's that argument as well. But the point is, you have to have the other part of it as, in addition to the playing ability, the human ability.
Yeah.
You just have to remember, you know, to be a human being, and that's a good one, a nice one.
You can't.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, Scott, are you okay?
Just fall?
Oh, he's all. It looks like it's, you know, rejoining. You know,
the camera turned around. He fell on black ice.
Oh my God, black carpet ice. In your place? Somebody had just said, Ari, leave your egos at home, and it's like, of course. What a great reminder. What do you know, when you're away from being lucky to be on stage, or you did your movie, you did your everything you've done, you could easily have an ego of like, yeah, look at the awards I've won, look at what I've done. And it's like, no, it's like you should be a human being. What do you do at home? Do you mow the lawn? Hi, Scott.
Hi.
All right.
Sorry.
We're just talking about like the leave the ego at home. Somebody put there. That's part of it. I also think the original, back to what you were saying, Scott, I don't know. My fear sometimes is I see, and I won't even name names, but I see a few chosen people. I'm like, oh my Lord. Like they are in their, what would be like equivalent of my studio or something. And they're putting out these ridiculous, like if I really got my ego out of the way of like, oh, I see what they're doing. And I really put my thing aside and went, it would be a holy crap factor. I cannot believe what they're playing, first off. But I fear is I don't see these, and this is not, I'm not going to be this guy that goes, what records you played on? Well, yeah, tell me what tours you've done. I can't, there's always that side of it, that kind of like, yeah, you have chops, but show me who you playing in front of. What band? Always that. So I'm not going to be that rude, I have a couple friends that like to do that thing, and I'm
Sure.
cool with it. Myself. I feel like I know you guys could probably play with people. It'd be rad to see you go do a record or go to a club and play with your funk band. Or I get scared a little bit when it's all in a box, where each day is for these folks. It's a roll the 5 cameras, go to Final Cut or Premiere, and we all know we have to learn these programs besides being a drummer now, unfortunately.
Right.
But I get scared even for the kid prodigies, and there are some kid prodigies. I'm on Oprah. I get scared that high level of offering out of the gate is going to make their brain think, well, this is what it's going to be from now on. And they're going to become 15 or 17, and those things go away, not because they're not good, but because the novelty of them being young and amazing goes away.
100.
So I get scared for them. Not a diss, folks. It's you know what I'm saying? Like there's no guarantees ever in any year. Next year, the band can decide I'm not touring, or we just don't want to have you anymore, Johnny. I'm not an idiot. There's thousands of drummers that could step right in. So I try to keep my eyes focused on, I like to have fun with the chops. I like to goof off in there and put some Instagram out. But it's so important to play with humans.
That's right.
And my last thing is, there's enough stuff online. I talked to my wife about this. Very bold comment. I know we're running over time. The internet could be designed to be enough to be a university-style degree in teaching of drums. Broad statement, but it would definitely take a coach or someone stepping in, guiding people what to watch, what to work on, and checkpoints. Nothing replaces a human on how to do grips. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm just saying the amount of good knowledge on the internet is there, but there's also the amount of in between and the amount of bad. That's the trouble. So,
yeah. And the main point is that it can only get you to a certain level, because you have to be in somebody, and because the best drummers, whether we want this to be the case or not, and the best musicians of all types are the ones who know how to listen.
Yeah, very much. And it is more about listening than the playing part. You have to do you have to do both. But listening not only listening when you're on stage or in the studio, but listening just to when you're on that long drive, that kind of listening, like just the human interaction, just being a friend. These are things like that that have less to do with music than they do just human interaction, but it's a very important part of being if you want to be in a band, and be in a band that's actually successful, because there are plenty of bands with kids, and what did they last 1 or 2 years, and then you never hear of them again. There are reasons why bands don't last for more than a few years. Mostly it's because of that constant interaction, and this guy drives me crazy, and this you sort of have to realize it's mostly about just being a kind human being, and being having empathy, and realizing that not every day is going to be a great day for your buddy over there playing whatever, and it's that kind of deal. So
good point, Scott.
Well, a profound note to end on. Johnny, Scott, thank you so much for joining. As you know, the movie Adventures of Power, we're sending money to MCKEAN when people buy or rent it, or even stream it on Amazon. So, everyone, please support MCKEAN. Those of us who are supporting Ukraine continue to do that as well. I was just in Ukraine a few months ago, so it's quite personal what's going on. But much love to you guys. You're soulful, beautiful, brilliant musicians, and I appreciate you spending this piece of your morning with
Honor.
me.
Thank you both.
it was our honor.
Have a good day, and have a
all right
day, everyone out there.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Bye.